Hello everybody and welcome back to Victoria 3, where we are currently fighting Britain over here. I've thrown in a couple of improved relations, specifically with Ukraine and Austria here. I want to make sure that they don't try anything opportunistic while we're fighting Britain. I think that could be a pretty big problem for us, and they do, I believe, have an alliance right now, or a defensive pact, actually. So yeah, if these two were to group up and attack us while we're occupied with Britain down here, that would be a big problem, and I want to try to head that one off at the pass. So we're just going to improve some relations with them. It's not going to get all that high up, but hopefully that'll just keep them from thinking along those lines. That would be the idea, anyway. Now, as far as our battles with Britain here goes, I think we'll eventually get pushed into Britain. I don't think this is going to be a major issue. They're taking such enormous losses that I don't see a way that they are ultimately going to be able to win this. We could boost up some of our, supplements here, but I don't think morale recovery is our problem, to be honest here. I think our problem is we just need higher tech to break through. It's very tough to break these offensive lines, or rather these defensive lines in these mountains here. So it's very, very difficult to push through here, and that's where they're getting the majority of their losses from, to be clear. But this is doing... Oh, fertilizer. Okay, cool. This is getting further and further in our advantage here, and they're just taking huge losses. So this is fine as far as I'm concerned. We just don't want to have other fronts breaking out, right? That would be the overall idea. So I do want to make sure that we get those fertilizers put in here. So fertilizer plants, this is going to very slightly increase the cost of iron. Okay, I'm not too worried about that. And then we'll just get our fertilizers put through for our farms here. Yep, that all looks absolutely fine. And let's continue to tick forward. We do see Britain pulling a few smaller forces back here. I suspect this is to do with manpower. These are at half-ish manpower. Okay, I'm not exactly sure why they're pulling these forces back, but they are. Well, that seems reasonably fine. I mean, we're happy that they're pulling forces back. It's still going to be tough for us to push into these mountains. No doubt about it. They're also having a very hard time pushing into mountains. But we'll see how all that goes. So we are continuing to expand our military in the back line here. We're working on these motor industries for right now. I'm thinking about raising another army. I don't know that that's a good idea right now, but I'm thinking about it. I maybe shouldn't be thinking about it, but you know what? Let's do it. I'm going to raise up another army here, and we're going to have that be a new army, and we're going to have that be based somewhere up over here. So in maybe the Baltic HQ, I think that's reasonably fine. And I want to put in, what are our numbers that we want here? This is going to end up being 60, 20, 20. Okay. So we're going to bring these in from Moscow. I'm queuing this up at the top of the queue. And that's 9, so we need a lot here from Saratov, in theory. So that's 49, 50, and then we would need an additional 10. Like that. Now this I'm not going to mobilize, we're just going to keep up over here. And we're putting these at the top of the queue for the moment. Now, that is only 59. There we go. That's 60. So now we need some shrapnel artillery. We need 20 of these. So this needs to go to 31. That was one too many. And then Lancers. This would need to go to plus 51, but we're not going to have space for that. So we're going to put in 9 here. So that's now maxed out. And then in Kazan, we would need an additional 11. So something along the lines of that. And we're just going to get the 9th Russian army going here. Okay. So that is going to be at the top of the queue here. I want to hop over to these barracks and motor industries. We're going to move those to the top. But then we're going to work on these new ones. Excellent. So we're going to get that going, and that's just going to be a reserve force in case we run into any shenaniganery over here. The Revolutionary Norway has broken free from Sweden, but Sweden is cocky on this. I don't think we're even going to get involved in that, to be honest. Sweden should have that under control. So I don't think there's a problem there. But this Baltic army up here is intended. Austria sided with Sweden. Okay, that's a really good sign. Austria is now far less likely to attack us. They're conciliatory at this point, so that looks good. That looks very, very good. I was very concerned about Austria doing an opportunistic attack while this is going on. This is a battle of attrition down here, and it's going to be a slightly painful one. So that's okay. We're going to finish up these motor industries, and we're going to start working on training up the 9th Russian Army. This would also potentially stop any, like, landing shenanigans that Britain might try to do, like, up over here or something. We'll see what ends up happening there. All of these forces are heading out over here. Are they going to start up a... No, Canada's not in this. There's no front over here. Oh, they're fighting in Hawaii. Right. There is actually a Hawaiian issue over here. Communist Hawaii. Yeah, that's fine. So with Austria siding with Sweden over here, we definitely don't need to help them against revolutionary Norway. So we're not going to do that. At this moment, we're at +7 over here. Are we actually succeeding in any of these attacks here? Well, this is actually Britain attacking us. Did we press in over here? We still can't bring them below 0 yet. Okay. There is a naval invasion in Ingria. Okay. Well, these guys are being recruited. So we could mobilize this force. There's no one there right now. We can put in a commander from, how about the Orthodox Church? And eventually, we'll see some of these finish up. So it'll take them a little bit to actually do a landing here. And I guess this army could be utilized to stop this. It's not exactly ideal. Austria also sided with Hesse. Okay, so Austria is quite busy at this time. This is down to 2, or up to 2. But we have a slight advantage over here. So that's looking good. In terms of British dead, they have about 600,000. And their army size is 769k. So yeah, they've almost fully lost and replaced. Oh, they actually pushed over here a little bit. And we pushed them right back out. Okay. This seems fine. We are continuing to hold this front. That is absolutely okay. Now, I believe I went through off camera and changed some of these guys over to pillage. Yes, I did. Okay. That is what I want at this moment. Now, this army still doesn't have anybody there yet. That will take some time to get that all built up, right? No doubt about that. So these are being built. Yeah, I mean, there's a fair amount of stuff here being built. No doubt about it. But it will take some time to get these recruited up. I don't know that we're actually going to be able to do that. We might have to pull our National Guard up over here. And that might not actually be a bad idea. We could station that in the Baltic HQ right now. The National Guard is not a huge contributor to this front, and just getting it pulling up here would be good. If these guys had any units in them, I would use them. But I think that we need to pull our National Guard up. So that's fine. We're at +8 right now in terms of this advantage. So I think this is reasonably fine here. Oh yeah, look at these British death numbers. Insane. They're going to have their entire army replaced very soon. So we're just going to come up here and resist this naval invasion. There's these guys here, but they're not mobilized, although they do have some units now, or a unit. That's reasonably fine. But we're not going to mobilize them if we don't have to. That'll be absolutely good. So as far as our pushing over here goes, we're having a really hard time breaking their defensive lines. They're having a really hard time breaking our defensive lines as well. But the hand-cranked machine gun was just unlocked, which will increase our defense and our kill rate, which is very, very good for us. No doubt about that. Look at those numbers. Insane. Absolutely insane. So if we look at the current situation out over here, man, those numbers are high. They have almost officially lost their entire military size. As of now, they have officially lost their entire military size, now more than their entire military size on this. That is nuts. Absolutely bonkers. Now, we have no way to get to Jaisalmer, which is, you know, not great. But if we can get Britain out of here, that would be amazing. We are succeeding in holding off their land attempt over here. That's great. And we're seeing the 9th Russian army really start to bulk up in size. It's up to 10 now. We're going to be able to pull our National Guard back to this front line eventually. Britain is winning that defense. Britain is losing this attack. Britain is losing this attack. And what's going on here? We are losing this attack. Okay. The US is embargoing this. We don't really want to get into anything with the US. We could improve relations with them, but we don't currently have the influence to do it. I think that we no longer need to be influencing Austria here. So I'm going to stop improving relations with Austria, and we're going to improve relations with the US. We have no designs on the US, and I want to... Hang on, this is still saying Austria? This should be the US. Stop improving relations with Austria. Begin with the US. Okay, there we go. Fantastic. So we're going to improve relations with them. We're not very interested in fighting the US at this time. They declared a rivalry, which is, rude. And we're seeing Britain sending a few more forces in over here. They really can't keep this up, though. 800k that they've lost at this point. 841k. They really can't keep this up. Eventually, we're going to have a breakthrough here. Like, it's going to happen. But this is a matter of attrition. Period. End of story. So the question is, when is this going to fail? This is going to be 2 out of 3 lost currently. This naval invasion is going to fail soon. At which point our National Guard is going to be moved back down over here, and the 9th Russian Army will take over that situation. So that'll be okay. We are seeing Britain just flow more and more troops over here. Absolutely. But man, 871k casualties? Nuts. Absolutely nuts. Eventually we'll succeed in attack here. Actually, oh, no. For a moment this one was succeeding, but then we changed our role. Okay, this one's not succeeding anymore. This attack is not succeeding. Yeah, none of these attacks will succeed. The British are losing that attack, as expected. Trench infantry too strong. That's what this comes down to. It's very difficult to attack with trench infantry. No doubt about that. And this is like the World War I problem, right? Except that this is in terrible terrain to be fighting. To be clear, I didn't really want to fight here, but, I mean, it's going reasonably well for us. That said, our war support is below 0. So that is not great. No doubt about it. We cannot drop theirs below 0 without breaking this line and without, like, invading Belgium, which we can't do as long as Britain's in this war. I'm going to send the National Guard back down over here. That naval invasion is done. And these guys are able to be mobilized. Let's mobilize them and bring them over to the front as well. And the naval invasion's back. Okay, the National Guard is going to return back up over here. Cool. So if they're going to try this again, we'll just keep our National Guard up here, and the 9th is able to move down here. And hopefully that will give us the concentration of force that we need to force an actual breakthrough here. Because we really do need one very soon. There's a peace deal proposed. This is Belgium just trying to ban slavery in Kalat. Again, if we lose this war, it's not the worst thing in the world. So this is reasonably fine. We're just going to continue to push through here. Oil discovered in Dagestan. Yep, that is to be expected. And we'll be arriving down here pretty soon. We really need to get a breakthrough. The amount of forces that Britain has lost, and the fact that we can't drop anybody's war support down below 0. Insane. Yeah, we're not going to accept this peace deal. Any moment now. When is this going to expire? 2 days? Okay. There we go. So that is fine. Socialism has been unlocked. Cool. Yes, this battle is not being won at this time. This guy is on advanced front. So that sounds good. But man, it's very difficult to break into this territory. Very, very difficult. But the cost for Britain, though. They've lost over 1 million men at this. Absolutely nuts. Absolutely nuts. They are replenishing them. To be clear, they are replenishing their men. How are they doing on their finances, I wonder? Not well. That's definitely going to be the answer there. Not well. So taking a look at this, we really just need to get Britain out of the war. But we just cannot push in. It's really rough. No doubt about that. We've got so many forces over here right now. And we just can't do anything. Gotta love it. Well, we're continuing to bulk up our military. We are currently at a, wow, 22,000. Insane. 22,000 is our current strength. We just can't push in. Is what it all boils down to. So we're going to start an attack here soon. Okay, an attack was started here. And we just... 18 offense? Okay. Yeah, that's not going to be a thing. What's that next attack going to look like? Well, it's not building right now with the advancement progress. And I think Britain is on a purely defensive footing here. I would be if I was Britain. Maybe not. Those numbers are continuing to tick up. Yeah, they're attacking here and losing. We just can't push in, is what it boils down to. We're at minus 48 right now. Lithuania is in default. Okay. So that's these guys out over here. Yeah, that's not necessarily great. Nobody can win here, it seems like. We're just in a giant stalemate. The problem, of course, is our war support can be dropped below 0, and theirs can't. Why can ours be dropped below 0? Presumably because it's banned slavery? Which, I mean, again, if we lose that, that's fine. I just want to attempt to break through this. If we end up capitulating, we don't actually care. So it would just be a giant waste of everyone's time and a waste of, you know, a few million people's lives. That's not that big of a price to pay. For sure, that's not that big of a price. I would be fine with white piecing Belgium at this point. Britain, on the other hand... I really want to push in here, and I feel like we should be able to at the losses that Britain is sustaining. They're sustaining losses at a 2-to-1 ratio for ours. But we just can't get a toehold in here. That's the core issue. We just cannot get a toehold. We're still expanding up our militaries, and eventually, that'll finish. Spain has declared Britain to be their rival. Okay, I want to check in at Britain's numbers here. 15,263 compared to us at 23,025. Yeah, so we do see that they're still attempting to do these invasions up over here. Our National Guard is holding the line on that front. That's all well and good. We really do need to get pushed in here, though. Like, it would be great if we could actually get a gain. Anything at this point would be nice. But no, it's really rough. Britain decided to put all of their forces here instead of fighting France at all. They let their allies fight France, and fine, that's understood. The problem here, of course, is we don't really have a way to get in, and we are on the clock. We just have to try to brute force it and hope that we get good rolls, ultimately. Okay, so we're actually losing this defense here. They got a little bit of gain here, but that's not going to last long. Oh, we're advancing here. That's looking pretty solid. We're minus 82 right now, so we got to move quick if we get a breakthrough. And that breakthrough is going very slowly, no doubt about it. But we are working our way through that. We've kicked them back out of this area, which was expected. Or not entirely. There's still a little bit left over there. And looks like this is turned against us. Oh, we rolled a lost? Okay. We were rolling okay there, and then we weren't. So we're minus 87 right now. Even if we fully lose this, we don't mind. The only thing that happens is 2 of our vassals ban slavery, which we're fine with. That's completely and totally okay. So I'm going to continue to roll here up until the bitter end, and we'll just see if we manage to get anything. Yeah, we'll probably capitulate very soon. And that's okay. That is absolutely okay. Yes, our co-belligerent is in default. Like I said, we're going to be rolling until the bitter end here. Our main problem, I think, is trench infantry. That's what it comes down to. Like, we're running trench infantry in all of our armies right now. If we were able to get to squad infantry, I feel like we'd be doing a lot better down here. As it is, it's just so tough to attack there. Okay, we capitulated. So that is fine. That's absolutely okay. We're now turning a bit of a profit here and paying down that debt, which is absolutely fine. And we're going to finish off upgrading our military up here. Sind wants to enter into a trade agreement with us. You know what? That's fine. And the Sikh Empire here, I would like to reduce autonomy, but we can't do that yet. So Britain was a problem for us. No doubt about that. Raising concerns, huh? Sure. I mean, I think we proved there that we can take Great Britain. The main problem was the terrain that we were fighting in and trench infantry, right? That's what it comes down to. Because if you look at the stats on trench infantry, we can take a look here. Trench infantry have 30 offense and 40 defense. Whereas if you look at, say, squad infantry, 40 offense, I mean, it is more defense for all of them. 8 morale loss. Yeah, maybe that's not actually the problem, but it was very difficult to attack over here. We did not succeed in attacking over here, and that was painful. However, our infamy does drop down to 13.1, so we have some options, potentially. Like, for example, Oman. I would have preferred to have Great Britain's territory over here under our control by the time we go after that. Or maybe we go after Sind here. So this would be a make protectorate play. They'll not accept this, so we can just force this diplomatic play. I don't expect anybody actually joins this. I'm going to mobilize these guys, though, just to be safe. And we're going to head on down. Cool. So that'll be reasonably fine. We're currently finishing up all of our constructions, and I mean, this is mostly just a lack of convoys at this time. That's pretty much what this is boiling down to. So what else do we have? Market access in Ingria is currently low. So we can take a look at that. That's something that we definitely do need to handle. So here in Ingria, it's at minus 122. Each of these is going to be 25. So we need at least 5 railways in Ingria. We'll get that going. Okay. What else do we have going on? Let's look at our market and look at market price of goods. Motor industries, ironclads, coal. Okay, let's get some coal mines going here. I'm going to queue up about 10 of those. And then I'm also going to queue up about 10 motor industries. Tajikistan seems relatively fine for that. And sure, we'll let that get going. And we'll get these barracks done first, as well as the railways. I just don't want to be idling our construction at this time. Okay, as far as our war against Sind goes, who do we think will join? Well, the Ottoman Empire might. If they do, we've got plenty of infamy to toss at them. So we'll see if the Ottoman Empire joins them. I kind of expect them to. The US sided with them. Okay, that's rude. That's very rude. We'll see if the US manages to get here before the war breaks out. That'll be interesting. I didn't actually expect the US to, but, I mean, sure. Our infamy is very low right now, but the US is our rival, so that does make some amount of sense. We'll see what the US sends over. Looks like they are sending a few forces anyway. But I do expect to be able to take over Sind fairly quickly here. So we have a contested government right now, and this is the best that we can do. Okay, noted. Unfortunately, the US is going to mean that our convoys are going to still be fairly in deficit here. However, we are making our way over here. Netherlands sided with Great Britain, okay. If no one else joins, we'll demand war reparations. The US is demanding regime change in Kalat. Okay. We don't actually care about that, but that's fine. So I think we should probably revolutionary Finland. Okay. We could just send our National Guard to that, to be honest. So the National Guard's going to head up over there. No real problem with that one. At this point, the question is, how many American troops are actually going to arrive in Sind before we crush them? Right? That's the question. So I want to take a look at this guy. We're very no, I don't want to back down. We're very unlikely to be able to get anything like war reparations from the Americans. Although that would be phenomenal if we did. Honestly, I don't think we even want anything from the Americans. We can toss in the American war reparations on the off chance that it happens, but I don't see that happening. Okay, escalation is going to continue here. And we're going to be fine here in a moment. Yeah, we're in countdown to war. Nobody else is going to join. So now the question is, how many Americans are actually going to arrive here before the war breaks out? Looks like only 1 unit. So that seems fine. We've got inefficient agriculture here. Sure, we'll follow their advice. And the war is going to break out in just 10 days here. The Americans have 1 unit on the way over. They have a number more coming. Okay, we may need to mobilize another army here. We'll see. So we definitely want to be pushing in over here. That is a good attack. And we easily win this attack. The question is, are we going to cut off the Americans before they end up arriving, right? How much did we end up getting out of that attack in terms of occupation? Looks like some. Okay. I'm hoping that we're going to be able to get at least 1 more attack. Although it looks like we're currently halted on that front. Yeah, this battle is occurring, and that's not going to go well for them. We are easily winning this battle. Actually, this is an attack. Excellent. We do see more Americans on the way in. They have 8 days until they arrive, and that's a fairly large force that's arriving here. Another fairly large force arriving. So we probably do need to mobilize these guys and send them on over to this front. So we'll do exactly that. We're going to win this battle, and that gives us a fair amount of occupation here. The US is going to immediately start up this battle and win that. We have a second force on the way in. How many more American troops are coming? Some is the answer. Serbia wants a defensive pact with us. I'm going to decline that for the moment. And we need these guys to arrive at the front, right? They'll arrive fairly soon. War with Communist Finland has broken out. That is expected, and our National Guard will handle that without problem. So the US is starting to do some pushes over here, although they're losing this battle and winning this battle. Okay, that seems fine. We've got another large army heading in here. There we go. And that army has arrived at the front. This battle down here, they are definitely losing, and that's a very, very good sign. More Americans are on the way, though. Okay, so we're losing this attack, sure. We probably need to send more forces, to be honest. The Americans are being absolute jerks right now. No doubt about that. We're going to send additional forces over. We see vassal forces on the way, and the US is invading Ingria. Okay, currently the National Guard is here, and that should be reasonably fine. We can also mobilize more forces here if we need to. Okay, so awkwardness is ensuing out over this way. No doubt about it. I was hoping to get Sind fully occupied before any of this actually happened. Unfortunately, the US did manage to get here in time. So we're sending additional forces over. And this naval invasion, I don't expect to actually have happen. Sure, this guy can be a general. Okay, so we've got an additional army arriving over here. This should tip the balance in our favor, and indeed it does. Fantastic. So we are defeating the US here and here. This is the US attempting to attack on both fronts. So it's very awkward, right? No doubt about it. I would have definitely preferred the US not be involved in this. And taking a look up over here, how is this going? They've not succeeded in making any landing attempts yet. Okay, so we don't have our full force brought to bear here. We are losing this attack, and the US is losing this attack. Okay, so we push them back out of here. That's excellent. They retreated from there. We have unfortunately retreated from Sind, and we will have that under our control, I think, fairly soon here. Okay, so this battle is going to end shortly. There we go. Now the question is, what battle will begin next? Looks like they're going to attack us. Sure. Never mind. We're attacking them, and we're losing that attack, but we're winning this one, at least for now. Yeah, that broken supply line is not a great roll. No doubt about it. It's tough to attack in this era. No doubt about it. But we are pushing in over this way slightly. There's also an attack up here that the US is losing. I want to check in at the US's numbers here. Okay, that looks good. So Finland has capitulated. How's this battle going? The US is losing it. That's perfect. That's their first naval battle there. And we are winning this attack. We're losing this attack, and we are winning this defense. That seems good. There's one down over here, too, that the US is losing. So we seem to be slowly beginning to push it. They're in a panicked retreat right now. That seems great. Okay. So in terms of how much the US is devoting to this, they're definitely not throwing their full force into it, and neither are we, to be honest. So the 4th American Army is moving up over here. We have some occupation at this point, but we don't have sufficient occupation. So the US is getting pushed back over here. The Sindhi side is building up some advancement progress. Okay, this attack is going very poorly. Despite the blunder, it's just a numerical advantage, right? So that's reasonably fine. We have some occupation here. And we just need to continue to push in, is what this really needs. So we can see that our manpower on the 3rd Russian Army is quite low. That is noted. We may need to cycle out the 3rd Russian Army for the 5th. In fact, I'm going to mobilize that, and we're going to send it down. And we're going to demobilize the 3rd Russian Army fairly soon. Their manpower is quite low. So that is going to be a thing that we're going to need to do. Or just use the 5th Russian Army to bolster our manpower reserves over here. That is also a theoretical option. So we are losing this battle and winning this battle. Once again, we're losing defenses and winning attacks. This is, I think, primarily a tech issue over anything else. So we're bringing in additional forces here. They'll arrive eventually. The Americans are also bringing in additional forces. Numbers are fairly even between us and the Americans overall. Gold depleted in Outer Manchuria. Okay, that should mean that we can build gold mines there. And indeed it does. We'll definitely get those going. The Americans interfering in this is very rude, though. No doubt about it. We're winning that battle and losing this one. Yep, as expected. We are winning all of the defenses and losing all of the attacks. It's just very tough. That's all there is to it. And this one we can't even blame on the mountainous terrain. So, there is that. To a large extent, it's just the era, right? So there is that. There's currently a peace deal proposed, which is just the regime change in Kalat. I don't think that's necessary at this time. I don't think that... Well, at this point, gold fields depleted in Outer Manchuria. Yeah, that's expected. The question is... Now that we're at 32 advantage, are we going to start pushing in here? Or are the Americans just going to send more before we can push in? That's the question. We definitely need to chill a bit after this due to our manpower numbers, but yeah, it's tough. It's very, very tough. We can make small gains here and there. This is very World War I style, right? We're also making money right now, which is not a good sign, actually. That means that we've had significant casualties out here, and we kind of need to get out of this war. So, I mean, this battle is not proceeding nicely. We could just throw all of our resources at this and just try to overwhelm them through brute force. That is an option. And honestly, I'm going to do it. We're going to mobilize these guys, and we're going to send them down. They'll arrive there in 51 days. We're just going to send all of our reserves in. And we're still holding off these land battles up here. The U.S. is not succeeding in landing out there, and that's absolutely fine. We really need to get some gains down here, and I think it just requires, in this era, a huge concentration of force. So that's exactly what we're going to do. We just can't win these offensive battles. They have very high defense, and we have pretty low offense. And that's the case for basically everybody right now. There's no doubt about that. So we'll arrive at the front with a couple of additional armies here. This will hopefully turn the tide. We do see the Third Russian Army recovering its manpower. That's a good sign. Yeah, it's just very, very difficult to break in. Their defense is 64.22. We just need significant numbers on them at this point, and that's what we're looking to do. So we're at 30 right now, bringing us up to 38. Oh, that does not feel very good. 38 is not fantastic. When we're bringing our full force to bear here, yeah, it's tough. It's really tough right now. So I think it's very clear that after arc welding and plastics, we need to do some military research. And what do we need to do? Well, we need to start going to, like, defense in depth, or even wargaming would be interesting. That would give us 10% army offense. So I think wargaming, and then probably after that, defense in depth. Something like that. So they're offering us a peace deal again. It's not a good peace deal. Okay. So this battle is not going fantastically, right? And we can look at what we've got going on with these advancements here. It's not ideal, for sure. Attacking is really hard with this tech. Getting siege artillery would be good, no doubt about it. I think that's pretty necessary. This battle might go okay, though. Ooh, these are awkward rolls. Yeah, it didn't go the best in terms of our surprise maneuver might help. Yeah? And they got mud. Persia's in default. Okay. It's tough. It's absolutely tough in this era. But we are managing to push through over here for now. This was an okay attack roll. So that's good. But it's painful. Naval invasion again in Ingria? Yep, that's not surprising. O City of Plenty has popped up, which is, you know, good. So we are going to succeed this attack. The question is just how much. Why are we panicked retreating right now? Why would we roll that? This battle is won. Not even a panicked retreat will lose the battle for us. So that's looking solid. We're going to finish up this attack here. Both sides are chilling at 0. Nobody can get below 0 at this moment, unless we have a big breakthrough over here. And the question is, when would the Americans be interested in exiting this war? They would be interested in a white peace right now. Would they be interested in this? Actually, they're kind of close. The Americans don't really want to fight this war anymore, it seems. They're pulling back this American army with 40 units in it. That's really solid. Let's wrap up this battle. There we go. Okay, so we have some actual occupation here. That's fantastic. How's this battle going? We are losing that 98 to 83. I guess we're attacking. Yeah. Broken supply line into camouflaged. That's rough. No doubt about it. Can we launch any other attacks? That would be nice. That would absolutely be nice. So they've proposed this peace deal, which is a white peace. I don't want a white peace. I want our war goals. I feel like we can get them. Now, keep in mind, we're not constructing right now. That's why we're not losing much money. That's okay. I'm not too concerned about that. Yeah, we've got a lot of problems at this moment. This is due to our lack of convoys almost entirely. If only the US and Britain would stop messing with our imperialism. Jerks. How rude. So we lose this battle, and the question is, do we get pushed out of this occupation that we've got? Yes, we do. Okay, wonderful. However, we've got this going on, which we are winning, at least for now. I'm going to bump us up to speed 5 because this is very slow going. Oh, lost into surprise maneuver. Oh, what a bad roll. That's unfortunate. Very, very sad. I mean, there's nothing we can do about that. Our guy just got lost, you know? What are we going to do? Not much to be done. So the US is at minus 17 right now. Okay. It's tough. No way around it. Arc welding is going to be done in 19 months. That's fine. This battle is, of course, going poorly. Do we white peace this? And just be like, you know what? It's not worth fighting with our current technology levels. That might be the way to go. But I do really feel like we should be able to push through this. I really feel like we should. That's the unfortunate thing here. We would have been able to if the Americans had taken, you know, slightly longer to arrive. Slightly longer to arrive. But unfortunately, they didn't. So we've got this battle going on, which we're losing. It's really, really rough at this moment. We need the tech, is what this boils down to. And defense in depth isn't really going to do it, of course, but wargaming will be helpful, and then what we're really interested in is getting our hands on, this leads to siege artillery, right? So we're really interested in getting our hands on siege artillery down over somewhere. Where is that? It unlocks siege artillery. Yeah. Okay. So there's this peace deal here. They're still proposing a white peace. Honestly, I feel like we win this, given enough time. It's way past time to put a cut in here, though, so I'm probably going to have to do that, and we'll wrap this up next episode. I was really hoping for this war to be a this episode sort of thing. But unfortunately, incompetence is incompetence. No doubt about it. Poor visibility is not the time to launch an attack. I mean, unless you get a surprise attack. But yeah, this poor visibility roll into broken supply line here, I mean, and in a blunder. Yeah, it's just rough. We're rolling poorly, and we're not well equipped for attacks, just generally with the technology level of the era, right? So that's what I'm chalking this up to for now, but I still believe that we can push in here. You can leave your offerings to the engagement gods in the form of likes, comments, subscribes, and bell ringings, and a very special thank you to all of the channel members for making this video possible, including ALS Gamer, Shadow Wolf, Kentogan, Ali Lee, Upper Cumberland Gamers, Nick Smarty, Dimitri H, Punching the Microphone, Soccerman12 UK, and all the rest. And of course, you. Thank you for watching. If you'd like to support the channel, you can click the join button down below the video, and as always, I will see you all next time, where hopefully we'll roll a little bit better. To be clear, the problem isn't necessarily just tech. Tech would help, but our rolls have been awkward. There's no doubt about that.